Another episode of the podcast. Every single time I get somebody new on, it's always exciting. As much as it's great to talk to returning guests, new faces, with new experiences and everything. But dude, with you, man, like such an awesome season you're having so far. It's really cool to watch, and your coach speaks so highly of you. Um, so I really want to, dive deep into that. But before any of that stuff, man, I always start off with new guests. How did you get started with running? What's the story?
Yeah, I was playing soccer and football at the time, but I didn't really like it, so I wanted to choose a different sport, and my dad saw cross country. At first, I didn't really want to run, but I started to enjoy it, and as time went on, I really liked the sport, and now I'm where I'm at.
Yeah, so not the first person to say, transition from soccer to cross country.
Yeah.
But how was that? Was it, I'm always fascinated, because it seems like soccer players have an easy transition to it. Was it easy for
Yeah.
you to kind of pick up or?
At first it was kind of hard because of like the long distance, the long runs, all of the workouts. But as time went on, it got easier. Yeah, it for sure helped though.
Yeah. Okay, hobbies. What about like outside
Uh,
of the sport? We're not running. Yeah, what kind
yeah.
of hobbies are we doing?
I like to go on hikes through the mountains, and I enjoy fishing and hanging out with my family. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. I don't. We've had quite a few outdoorsy people on here. I think the first person to say fishing. Kudos to that. Um, do you like what? Like at a lake or something, or like offshore? What do you like prefer?
Um, yeah, I go to lakes, rivers, and just like ponds around my area with my friends. So yeah,
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. I grew up in Florida, and
that's awesome.
yeah, my friend got me into fishing, and I, I suck. Or at least the thing that ever I get is like puffer fish, which puts
Yeah,
up a good fight, but it's like
yeah.
it's such a trash fish, not even really. So that's my fishing expertise. Um, yeah, man. So I want to dive into cross country, but I kind of want to back up just a little bit and go into like summer training. You come off a track season,
Yeah,
and just from like looking at it, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you're more of an 800 guy,
yeah.
or
800 guy for the most part.
yeah, yeah, because the eight, I mean, 157 in the eight looks great. I mean, first off, congratulations, sub two, like
Thank you.
that's awesome, man. That's so cool. But then like the 448 kind of like
Yeah.
tricks you a little bit because you're like,
Well,
you would expect you to be
yeah,
a
I
little
was
bit
just
quicker.
pacing
Yeah,
that as like a workout at the time, but
yeah.
this year I'm gonna start to like transition towards like longer distance, so it can like help me out more with like the 5K. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean the eight's not bad. I mean, like I said, your sub two is the first like real goal to kind of get under,
hmm
and the fact that you've already done that. But it's like you do kind of scratch your head because you're like, dude, if you're going 157,
yeah,
your mile should be like at least sub 430 right now.
yeah.
So that's kind of cool to like kind of look forward to this
hmm
next track season. Um, but to go into like summer training, like what were some of the goals in mind for cross country?
Some of the goals I would say were to like build a better base, longer distance, like 50 to like 60 miles a week, and then more like long tempos, and just a lot of team building too, just like getting to know your teammates more and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, man. And some guys have mentioned it throughout the summer, but like that is so important. Is like the team building experience in the summertime.
Yeah.
I think that part almost goes a little unnoticed
Mhm.
sometimes, but you do see it a lot because you see teams going to camps or something, or just spending a week somewhere and whatnot, and even just having like time to run with each other every day, I think makes a huge difference. Um, so when you go into the summer training, everything you mentioned here,
Yeah.
um, you go into the season. What's like the first kind of goal Like, was there a time goal in mind, or like to start the season off?
Yeah, I would say I try to get like at least like 30 seconds close to my PR from the previous year. And then from there, I just try to improve by at least like 15 to 10 seconds per meet. And then try to PR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mentioned that because like obviously sub 16, huge
Hmm.
accomplishment. Again, like hands off, man. Kudos to you for doing
Thank
that.
you.
I'm a I ran 16-13 in high school, so it was
Fast.
close to it, but it's like just hats off to you, man, because it's such a huge accomplishment. And to knock it out already early on in the season too. Um, what was that like initial feeling when you crossed the line? You saw 15s. Like, was it something you expected right off the bat, like so early in the year, or no?
Yeah, I sort of expected it, but it was for sure like a huge relief at the time because all my teammates would like say stuff and like nag me on. But yeah, honestly, it was like the best feeling I've had during cross country.
Yeah, I guess when you cross the line and then you tell them like, dude, I broke 16. Like, what was
Yeah,
their thought initially? Like, holy crap, dude, you did it, or what?
yeah, they're like, I mean, they didn't obviously say that, but they were hyped. So it was a nice experience.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. I will say this though, and it seems like um, you know, you're I don't want to say you're stuck, but it seems like you've hit that like that mark, and now it's like I always kind of compare it to breaking 10 for the first time in the two
Yeah,
mile. Like once you do it, you can kind of like you kind of get it and you know how to do it. But like you're in that like 151 to 152 or 1551 to 52 range right now, and you
yeah.
like sat on that. What do you think like you need to like work on to kind of overcome that hump? Because it seems like that's just the hump right now that you
Yeah.
just are like kind of stalling on.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm stuck. I would just say that the courses have been like very not similar, but I just like I would run that time at like all three of those courses because of the elevation and like the distance. But I would say I just need to increase like the turnover on mile two because that's usually like my slowest mile. So once I get that down, I can look forward to like PR. So especially with the race Starlight coming up, um, yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, was that your first time running at Wake Med this past weekend?
Yeah, it was my first time, so I was a little nervous, especially since it's that big of a meet, Adidas. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, historically, even the course is like, you know, it's a tough course if you can't run hills. I
hmm
think because just that
yeah,
massive hill, um, but it runs fast too. I mean, you got guys that can break 15 on it, so it's like you can't
yeah,
have an excuse of like, oh, it's slow because it is
yeah,
fast. Um, Running that, like, how was that experience? I mean, it like you said, it is such a big meet,
yeah.
and that really and to get the win too. So it's
hmm
like you're there. I mean, to do that, get the win and that time, it's like, yeah, just sky's the limit for Starlight coming up. But how was that whole experience?
Yeah, it was a nice experience. I came in the meet. I knew I could get top five. I didn't know I could win the whole championship race, but I came through mile one at like 4:50. I felt good at the time. There's like five people ahead of me, so I was like, oh, I can actually win this meet. And then after the first hill, it was hard, but the adrenaline pushed me through that first hill. And then through mile two, I slowed down a little too much, but it wasn't as hard. And then from mile two to three, I picked the pace back up. And the last hill for sure was like the hardest part of the race. But I pushed through that. I saw a couple kids behind me, and I just went for it and finished through.
Did you look back? You looked back
I look
and
back
saw
a
them?
couple times.
Look
Yeah,
back.
I
Yeah.
was scared a
I
little bit. Yeah,
yeah, dude, I would be too, man. If you're sitting in first, you like you feel the pressure of it.
yeah,
And Wakeman's not really the most like spectator friendly course because
yeah.
obviously you go down, you come back up the hill, and you're basically alone for the whole race.
Hmm.
Um, Besides that kind of course, do you normally hear like coaches or parents like cheering you on or like splits or anything? Do you normally hear that or not really?
Um, I tried to hear my coaches and all the people cheering for me, but I'm kind of in this like other like zone where I just like run and only run. So, yeah.
No, that's cool. So back to that finish. Um, you look. I mean, you said you look back. How many times did you look back? Like, did you
Um,
like? Were you actively looking back? Like, holy crap! Like, did you think you were kind of falling apart, or you felt confident enough to make it to the
I felt
line?
confident, but my legs for sure were dying on me.
Yeah,
So I looked back like maybe like 3 or 4 times, but I knew I had it.
yeah. Um, you mentioned Starlight coming up. Obviously, a big meet, man. There's just so many teams that are you can kind of now get those head to head matchups and really see what you stack against, against everybody.
Hmm.
Um, is there a game plan already that you have in mind for that? Because I mean, it seems like a lot of guys are going to want to go out fast for it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's ambitions to try and go sub 15,
Yeah.
just because of like last year. I think the winning time was like 15:03. Are you gonna go with it if they do make that kind of push, or are you gonna sit back? Because obviously, like you said, you went out at 450, so you
Yeah.
have the speed to definitely hang with them.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to go out with the front pack, and then try to stick on through mile 2, and then the last mile just give it my all. But the course is it's a super fast course, so I think I can PR by a decent amount at this course.
Yeah, it's and plus, it's I think it's the whole like atmosphere of it too, being like at
Yeah.
night and it seems like everybody gets hyped for this one of all of
Hmm.
them. This one's like kind of
Yeah.
the one. I want to talk about the team a little bit now. Like the team's not bad either. You do have a pretty
Hmm.
good team behind you as
Yeah.
well. What were what were some of the expectations like prior to the season, and then now that you have a few races under your guys' belts, like have they changed at all? I'm assuming like states has always been like that's kind of a gimme, but um, is it like top 10 at states kind of makes it well? Or is a top five is the goal?
Yeah. During summer training, when we were with the team, we were expecting like top 7 at state, but now since we've had a couple races under our belt, me and my coach think we can get top 5 at state.
And then for yourself, even last year we saw states is it's anybody's race.
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah.
I mean, you had favorites in there who did not win, um, and some. No, I don't want to say shockers. I don't think Brandon is a shocker, but it was definitely it caught some people off guard a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, do you? I guess is your expectation? I mean, I tell my kids all the time, like the point of racing, like is you going for the win. So I
Yeah,
mean, I
for
don't
sure.
think you should ever like not try and go for the win. But is that kind of the expectation in your kind of head, is to like you have a legitimate shot at winning this thing?
Um, I would say I could win, but I'm most likely not gonna win. But I think I can get top 5 at state. That would be my goal right now. But we'll see as the season goes on. I might get a little faster and then build more confidence for state. So
Yeah, I mean, hey, I would never count yourself out.
yeah,
Like I said, I think sometimes it's a little bit of luck as well.
yeah,
That kind of happens in there. Um, you know, you are still pretty young compared to
mhm,
the rest of the field here.
yeah,
It seems like at least. Um, when you when you look at, you know, eighth graders running, there's seventh graders even running, um, and then even like young freshmen running.
Yeah.
Um, what kind of advice would you kind of have for them who are just getting into the sport, who, again, like they see your success and it's like, dude, like,
Yeah.
and it's no knock on what you ran last year, but it's like,
Hmm.
dude, if you put in the hard work, like, why can't I? And I can get to that level. Like, what kind of advice would you have for somebody like that?
Yeah, I would say as like a underclassman, you should take it slow. Don't work yourself out. Um, I would say just stay consistent. Try to run every day, long runs, tempos, workouts, and you'll be good.
No, good advice, man. Um, I think there's so much to the sport. I think that people don't like take time to like sit back and really reflect on.
Yeah.
So like to hear it from you and your peers as well, I think goes a long way. Um, I did want to touch up on a little bit. I know we're in cross country, but I do want to touch up on the track stuff just a little bit. Um, when and I know we mentioned it. The 8 versus the 16.
Yeah.
Is it the 8 that you just feel more confident in versus the 16, or is it just the focus was the 8 last year and like that's just kind of what it was?
Yeah. I feel more confident in the 8, but that's because I trained for the 8 all last year. This year I'm gonna start training for the 1600. Last year I didn't train for it, so it wasn't really like a priority at the time. So
Do you think there's ever a situation or in a new multiverse where you're gonna do the 32 at all, or is that like that's just not in the cards?
yeah, I'm actually gonna do the 32 in the beginning of the season because I'll be coming off of the 5K, so I'll be a little bit in shape for the 32. So yeah,
And with the 800 and obviously a sub 2, I would say I would probably, if I wish I had a chart here with it,
yeah,
but I would probably bet, I don't know, maybe 10%, 20% of guys that run cross country can run sub 2. Like it's not a lot.
yeah.
So you have that kind of speed. Do you think you have like a good kick at the end, or because you mentioned it for Adidas, you still were able to kind of make it to the line, but
Yeah.
do you feel like you have a strong kick to kind of outkick anybody, or
Yeah,
not
I
yet?
would say I have a super strong kick. I think I can outkick about almost anyone, depending on how my legs feel. Yeah,
Dang, kudos to you, man. Because I always joke about it, but my team always dogged me. They said I had like no kick at all, and I was like, I thought I had a good kick, but
yeah,
I was only like a 205 guy. The 800 is not me by any by any means.
yeah,
Um, so going now again, kind of, I want to push a little bit past Starlight, and again, we're kind of focusing on, um, you know, regionals or even states for that matter. You know, I guess what is, because I say your strong kick, working on kind of the 2 mile point in the race. Is there anything else that you think that you personally need to work on to kind of overall just grow as a runner, or do you think you pretty much have it all? It's just fine tuning kind of workouts.
yeah. I would say one main thing is just like trusting what I can do in my training. That's the main thing that I need to focus on right now.
Yeah, man. Hey, dude, appreciate you coming on.
Thank
Your
you.
coach, like I said, speaks like super highly of you, um, and he's been emailing me all the time saying like, man, like he's the guy. He's got to come on. Like super cool. Obviously, been making such good leaps and bounds forward this year. It's exciting to watch. Obviously, your team's exciting to watch. I think there's a lot there. I think it's just like putting
There is.
everything together. It
Yeah,
seems like for most teams right now, like 4 and 5 are kind of, um, like if a lot of teams can get their 4 and 5 kind of a little bit quicker, it seems like there's like it's up for grabs. It really is.
yeah.
So it's going to be exciting to watch you and see how the boys run this weekend. I'm excited about that. We'll be out there covering that one. So yeah, man, just appreciate you coming on.